everybody. It's Elsie Kerns, Wellness with Elsie, your Chaos to Clarity coach and Eden Energy Medicine practitioner. And tonight I have the privilege of speaking with another colleague of mine, Amy Williams, who is a Eden Energy Medicine clinical practitioner and also an access consciousness trainer. And her husband Jack is joining us because they're both coming to Rahway, New Jersey, May 19th, and they're going to teach access consciousness right here locally. So it is going to be right in Rahway, as I said, New Jersey. It'll be facilitated by Sherri and Ann Sheridan, and I'll give you all the details below after we talk to Amy and Jack, so that if you'd like to join us, you can just click the link to register or talk to Sherri if you have any questions. And so, Amy, I read a little bit about access consciousness, but I want to ask you, can you explain to our audience what actually is access consciousness and these access bars?
Yeah. So access consciousness is really, it's a huge body of work. And just to answer the second question first, access bars is the first hands-on body process that came out of that body of work. And the bars are 32 points on the head that when you touch them, and I've got an imaginary, well, I have a real head here. You can put it up so they can see. So if I were to touch them on both sides, let's just say, I was touching a point right here that was next to the eye. What a bar is that it forms a bar of energy between your hands. And so each of the bars has a theme to it. There are 32 points, and some of the themes, I won't promise to get through all of them, and really, half on each side of the head. So money, control, creativity, sadness, joy, awareness, there's all different, there's many different themes. And so what the bars do is it dissipates the energies that we have kind of glomming up our system around those themes. So the body of work of access consciousness was founded originally about 30 years ago by a guy named Gary Douglas. And what it is it's a set of pragmatic tools for living consciously, for becoming more present, for instance, to whatever it is that might be stopping you from living the life that you desire to live, but you just maybe can't quite seem to get to. So
Amy, I understand that this protocol, it has the ability to help you clear like thoughts and emotions that you've had stored for a lifetime.
Exactly. And even beyond this lifetime, if, they say that some of those things we can actually bring forth with us. It's not like we're, totally cleared out in between visits to the planet here, if you believe in that sort of stuff. And somehow I always have, ever since like the 3rd or 4th grade in Catholic school, I read about reincarnation. And, later on, I heard the Swami Beyondananda say that I believe in reincarnation because I think God is a recycler. I love that one.
And there's also some points of views and opinions that could be you come into this world on a cellular level, even if those who don't believe in another life.
Yeah. So if you do, you come in and some of those points of views from other lives might be stored in the body. Well, the bars is really clearing from the body that which we've locked into the physical reality.
Right. Amy, I just want to say that I think I'm getting some feedback here.
I'll turn my speaker and see if that helps.
Yeah.
Turn it away from the other speaker.
So I understand that we would talk about this in terms of energy around the head of neurovascular points. Was that correct?
Well, so in Eden Energy, so the fun thing about this is, when you and I met, I was in the certification program for Eden Energy Medicine. And then after the certification year is the clinical practicum. And one of the requirements was to do a research project. And I was so curious about the neurovascular reflex points on the head that work with releasing emotion, and how that was related to what I had studied before as a massage therapist as cranial sacral therapy, and before that a technique that I had done to me and then learned that was a very specific Reiki technique by the Reiki master I studied with that was for healing emotions at a deeper level. And so all of these things have in common that I kind of go out of the screen there. I can see it now. What these things have in common is that you're touching points on the head. And so we have technical. Should I just?
Okay, we lost, you froze just a little bit on those last two sentences when you were speaking.
Okay, well, what I said was that several techniques that I have observed through 30 years of doing energy work all have to do with touching points on the head. And as I got into that clinical practicum program, what I really, the idea was to compare the technique that uses the neurovasculars on the head, which is called the Black Pearl Sanctuary. Yes. Those points relate to the Chinese medicine, thousands of years old, to the neurovascular reflex points, which relate to the meridians, which relate to emotions. And yet once I got into it, because I had thought when I looked at the bars at first, I was looking through the lens of Eden Energy Medicine and the meridian points, things around the ear, things all over the head, which has a similarity, right? Yes. And as I got into it, I looked at it and I realized it's just not the same. And what Gary Douglas, the way that evolved was that he had asked a question. He had some things that worked in his life and some that didn't. And at one point he had asked a question, what could I have, do, be, create, or generate that would make my life worth living and make the world a better place? And one of the things that came forth for him was he began channeling. And somebody had asked him to channel for their massage therapist. And he kind of looked at the energy of what he had asked for in his life and looked at the energy of this request, and they matched. It felt like it was part of creating his future and more for the planet. And so he channeled for this person, and what came through was the bars. And what he got is that this protocol, this hands-on body process, had never been here in this way on the planet.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's just different. And I think that what I came to, however, 5 years ago or however long that was when I did that project, was that to actually get specific and try to compare it really didn't honor either one.
Well, I would say that there is definitely a difference in what they do compared to our other training. And I just want to say hello to some of the people that are on. Fiona, I saw Fiona last night, and she's very interested in coming because you're also offering CEUs for massage therapists. And Sherri, of course, is here, Leanne and Chris. And hi, Gloria Ballard. So we had a little freezing earlier, but I do think it's corrected now. Sherri is keeping us up to date on everything here. So I want to go back, Amy, and I want to check with Jack for a moment because I know, Jack, you've been a TM meditator for, 30 plus years.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, we're going up. We're passing 40 here soon.
Okay, so what you got interested also in working with Access Consciousness?
I did, and probably the biggest thing was, I learned a little bit about the history of Access Consciousness through osmosis, basically what Amy was learning. But what I noticed is when Amy would teach a class or she would have clients in, is that the energy of our house was completely different. I mean, I would walk in and, I've been able to sense energies and see energies since I was a little guy, and always thought, like a lot of us, thought that there was something wrong with me. But I could definitely tell that the energies of our house had changed dramatically. And I could see people coming in and coming like the before and after, when people would come in like for their intakes, and a lot of times I would be there just to say hi, introduce myself. Then I would see them as they would leave, and they looked different. It was amazing. And then one of the things that the more that I learned about Access Consciousness and the bars, the thing that really attracted me was that, my study obviously isn't as deep as yours and Amy's is, but the thing that I immediately noticed was with Access, they've never, the whole principle is that you're not broken. Where a lot of modalities thinks that you need to be fixed, or we need to fix you, or to do this to make. It's not at all. Access is like the mantra of Access is, all life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, and that we're not broke. We just need some help. We just need some help with our points of view and polarities and opinions about things to move that energy through and out of our system, so we can go on and live our day from minute to minute and second to second. And for what it's, I mean, we're extremely fortunate to have two practitioners living together. But what it's done for us, just changing the way that we look at the world and look at our lives, it's a game changer. It's just been wonderful, and we still have a heck of a lot of work to do, but so far it's just been tremendous for us.
Yeah. Well, because it's all about getting out of the polarity of right or wrong, good or bad, and that is what the bars is actually clearing. Is everywhere we have locked up and limited ourselves with a point of view. And what is it that we learn from the moment we can really comprehend what our parents are saying? Do this, don't do that. This is the way to do it. This isn't the way to do it. And so that kind of stuff is basically creating the lockup and the limitation on what we can choose, what we can experience, what we can create in and as our lives. Mm-hmm. So as the bars dissipate that, it quiets the mind, it starts to dissipate the things that are limiting us. And the beautiful thing is, we clear it out. We don't have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, and also, you don't have to re-experience something from how I understand this is operating, that it has a way of working with your body's own intelligence to help clear out those issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And you really don't. You won't necessarily know what changed right away when you have a session. The most common thing people experience is deep relaxation. Although I have to tell you about a tremendous thing that happened, probably the most, I don't know if I want to say nervous, but that's a good way to say it. This is within the last few months. I had somebody come in for the first time. He, in the intake, one of the things that he had said was that he was on lithium, and he said something about PTSD. And I don't remember if bipolar is typically what lithium is correcting or not, but I knew that, he had some serious diagnoses. And so he kept asking me, pretty much staring at the ceiling the whole time. And, what am I supposed to feel? And, you don't give someone the conclusion when you're clearing their conclusions of what they're supposed to feel. But I said, everybody's different. What you feel is what you feel. What you get is what you get. If you want to relax and close your eyes, you can. Sometimes people feel more ease and more space, and some people even go to sleep. Well, he kept asking. And so even I would get a text after the session, when am I going to feel different soon? And so the next day, we exchanged texts. And he said, I went in for an appointment with my therapist today, and I never followed this to find out exactly what the test was, but they had done some sort of brain mapping. And he said, my amygdala function had changed dramatically.
Wow.
And and I said, wow, that's really cool. I said, and how have you been? He said, after we texted last night, I relaxed more than I had in a long time. And then it was so cute. He said, will this stay?
Great testimonial. Yeah, really great.
And the beauty about the whole process is you don't have to believe in it for it to work. It works.
Right.
We got some comments from the peanut gallery. We have a lovely German Shepherd named Lucy. I don't know if that's the chair I'm seeing in my picture, but I hear her back there, and she actually is frequently with me in sessions, saying, commenting on energies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are looking forward to your being here, and that is not that far away. You're going to be May 19th, that Saturday, and you also have the opportunity to do a couple of hours on Sunday with
we're looking at that.
continued teaching. Yes. So you're going to be right in Rahway, New Jersey, and when we complete this little interview, I'm going to put the link and all of the details down. You can get a CEUs if you're a massage therapist, or if you need that for your New Jersey license and any other field. So it's a great way to not only learn, but collect some of your CEUs as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I can give it for NCBTMB for massage therapists. I don't know about other professions.
Okay.
So yeah, Sherri Nicholas is our host, and our licensure, we're called bars facilitators. Mm-hmm. So that's what you call it. And everyone who comes to class becomes a bars practitioner after one day of training.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We're anxious to come. The last time I was in New Jersey when I was at Fort Dick, so I'm very anxious. I'm anxious to see New Jersey again without wearing green.
Well, it has grown tremendously since you two have been here. So we're looking forward to having you as well. Now, Jack, would you give us that sentence again that you said you commented on a sentence that Access Consciousness uses? I thought it was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish I would have thought of it. Yeah, the mantra is, all life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Mm. And what Amy and I will do is we repeat that 10 times in the morning before we get active, and then we'll repeat it at 10 times before we go to bed at night. And it's a beautiful way to live life.
I also remember another sentence that I think you taught me, Amy, and that great sentence. How does it get any better than this?
Absolutely. That's what we call one of the tools of Access. There's another phrase I'll tell you, but that how does it get better than this is called a generative question. And you're supposed to ask it when something crappy happens and when something good happens. So if you get a bill in the mail, how does it get better than this? If you get a check in the mail, how does it get even better than this? Yeah. And the other thing that we both really appreciate about Access Consciousness, it's really about clearing out the stuck stuff so that you can get to your own knowing. So the phrase is empowering people to know that they know. It's not about going to some psychic to tell you about you, but to ask questions like, what is this energy? Or what could I choose that could create blank in my life? And so that's the playground that we're going to get into.
Well, you are great at the playground. I do remember that a couple of times we roomed together. You're a very fun person. And Jack, we're looking forward to having you here. And of course, Sherri and Ann are the great coordinators for all of these events. So I know it'll be a great day. It's going to be at Home 2 Suites in Rahway, and I'll put all that information below. So thank you for joining us from Lincoln, Nebraska. And we're already having 85, 90-degree weather here. So we sort of skip spring altogether, and we're already in summer. So it should be pretty warm by the time you get here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
We're really looking forward to it.
Great. All right. We'll see you soon.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah. So this is Elsie Kerns, and I want to thank all the people that joined us and made some comments, and I'll pass them on to Amy, and we'll get all that information below this Be Live in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.